You slept 8 hours. Congratulations. According to the National Sleep Council and most sleep guidelines, that means you should wake up feeling refreshed, energized, and ready to conquer the day like a well-rested productivity machine. Instead, you wake up feeling like someone replaced your soul with a slightly damp towel. You hit snooze once, twice, 3 times. Eventually you get up, stare at the wall for a few seconds, and begin the daily ritual of pretending coffee is a personality trait. If this sounds familiar, congratulations again. You have joined the global club of people who are somehow tired after sleep, despite doing the one thing every health blog on earth told you would fix it. Naturally, the first explanation most people hear is simple. You probably didn't sleep enough, which would make sense, except for the part where you actually did. The classic advice says adults need 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. This number appears everywhere. Doctors say it, productivity gurus say it, your smartwatch says it, and according to the sleep doctor Dr. Michael Bruce, the number itself isn't wrong. It's just incomplete, because sleep is not a simple on-off switch. It's more like a complicated software update happening inside your brain every night, and sometimes that update fails halfway through. To understand why waking up tired happens, you first need to understand something called sleep quality. Because not all sleep is created equal. During the night, your brain cycles through different stages: light sleep, REM sleep, and the real MVP of the entire operation, deep sleep. Deep sleep is where the body repairs tissues, consolidates memory, and resets your nervous system. It's basically the biological version of turning your computer off and back on again. Without enough restorative sleep, you can technically sleep for 8 hours and still wake up feeling like you were mentally run over by a truck. Which leads us to the modern solution everyone loves: technology, specifically the sleep tracking device. Smartwatches, fitness bands, rings that quietly judge your life decisions while you sleep. These devices attempt to measure how much you sleep and how much of that time was actually deep sleep. Sometimes they also reveal something disturbing. You were in bed for 8 hours, but you were only actually asleep for 6. The rest of the time was spent doing the classic human nighttime activity known as thinking about embarrassing things you said in 2014. This is one of the most common reasons people feel sleep deprived, even when their bedtime schedule looks perfect. Another major reason you wake up tired is something far less glamorous: a sleep disorder. One of the most common examples is sleep apnea, which sounds technical but is actually very simple. While you sleep, your breathing repeatedly stops and starts, sometimes hundreds of times per night. This happens because the airway temporarily collapses, which means your brain has to wake you up slightly to restart breathing. You usually don't remember this, but your body absolutely does. People with sleep apnea often experience snoring, frequent nighttime awakenings, and severe daytime sleepiness. More importantly, untreated sleep apnea can contribute to serious cardiovascular conditions like high blood pressure and heart disease, which is why treatments like a CPAP machine or a dental oral appliance exist. They keep the airway open so your body can finally experience uninterrupted restorative sleep. But here's where things get interesting. Even if you sleep enough, even if you don't have sleep apnea, you might still wake up tired. And the reason could be something called your chronotype. Your chronotype is basically your body's internal schedule, also known as your biological clock. Some people are naturally early risers, some people are night owls, and some people exist in a mysterious third category known as awake at 2 a.m. but non-functional at 8 a.m. According to Dr. Michael Bruce, identifying your chronotype can explain why traditional sleep advice doesn't work for everyone. Tools like a sleep calculator or his chrono quiz attempt to determine when your body naturally prefers to sleep and wake. If your lifestyle constantly fights this biological rhythm, you can technically get 8 hours of sleep and still wake up feeling terrible, because your brain believes it's still the middle of the night. Then there is the environment. The modern bedroom is a technological masterpiece of sleep sabotage. Phones, LED lights, notifications, tiny glowing indicators on electronics that look like they were designed by NASA to guide airplanes. All of this contributes to something called ambient light. Ambient light interferes with melatonin production, which signals your brain when it's time to sleep. Even small amounts of light can reduce sleep quality, which is why something as simple as an eye mask can dramatically improve sleep for some people. It removes visual stimulation and helps the brain fully enter deeper sleep cycles. Another surprisingly common reason people wake up exhausted is caffeine reliance. Coffee is fantastic, but caffeine works by blocking adenosine receptors in the brain. Adenosine is the chemical that builds up during the day and makes you feel sleepy. When caffeine blocks it, you temporarily feel awake. But if caffeine is consumed late in the day, it can still affect sleep hours later, meaning you fall asleep easily, but the depth of your sleep suffers. And once again, you wake up feeling like you ran a marathon in your dreams. Finally, there's the psychological side. Sleep isn't just a physical process where your body powers down like a phone on low battery. It's It's also heavily influenced by what's happening inside your mind. Poor sleep is strongly linked to mental health conditions such as depression, chronic stress, and insomnia. These conditions don't just make you feel emotionally drained during the day, they also quietly interfere with your sleep architecture at night. When the brain is under psychological strain, it becomes harder to enter deep sleep, the stage responsible for the most restorative sleep your body gets. This is the phase where your brain processes memories, your body repairs tissues, and your energy levels are reset for the next day. If this stage is disrupted, you can technically spend 7 or even 8 hours in bed and still wake up feeling like your brain just finished an all-night group project it didn't want to be part of. Mental health issues can also increase nighttime awakenings. Even if you don't fully remember waking up, your brain may repeatedly shift out of deep sleep into lighter sleep stages. Over time, this lowers overall sleep quality, which leads to that familiar feeling of opening your eyes in the morning and wondering if the night actually happened or if you just blinked for 8 hours. And then the cycle begins. You wake up feeling tired. Because you're tired, you rely on caffeine to function. The caffeine pushes your alertness artificially higher during the day. Later, your body struggles to relax and fall into proper restorative sleep. Your biological clock gets slightly confused. Deep sleep becomes shorter and more fragmented. So the next morning arrives, and you wake up tired again, which creates a frustrating loop. You feel tired, you rely on caffeine, you struggle to sleep deeply, you wake up tired again, repeat until someone invents a weekend long enough to actually recover, or until you start fixing the underlying causes of poor sleep, which unfortunately requires lifestyle changes instead of just another cup of coffee. The good news is that most sleep problems are solvable. Improving sleep quality often comes down to small behavioral changes. Better lighting control, less caffeine late in the day, following your chronotype, using natural sleep remedies that encourage relaxation and stable circadian rhythms, and occasionally, accepting that your brain is a 200,000-year-old biological machine trying to function in a world full of smartphones and midnight email notifications. So the next time you wake up exhausted after 8 hours of sleep, remember something important. You didn't fail sleep. Sleep is just more complicated than the internet promised, and fixing it usually requires understanding your body's rhythms, not just following generic advice. Anyway, if you enjoyed this episode of Casually Explained, consider liking the video, subscribing for more psychologically confusing aspects of modern life, and sharing this with someone who claims they're not tired while holding their third cup of coffee. Thanks for watching. Now go get some sleep.